All right, well, let's get things started. Hashtag randomly with Ronnie Jr. That would be me, randomly Ronnie Jr. And Russell Ray, how you doing, man? You are a big
Hey, sir.
time Halloween fanatic. Is that safe to say?
Yes, as you can see, the decorations are already going up, and it's not even October yet.
And I'm sure you were early. What's the rule on that, Russell? Do you start Halloween before Labor Day? Is that allowed? I have my thought process. When do you start your Halloween decorations?
You can start your harvest decorations post Labor Day. And as the weeks continue, you can gradually transition it into Halloween.
Okay.
And
When
then
I
after
saw,
Halloween, you transition it back into harvest.
I love it. When I saw people getting too excited at late August, I was like, no, you can't do Halloween. At least my rule, like you say, harvest, I was calling it more like an autumn look, You can make it feel like autumn, in September, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, but you can't do Halloween until like mid-September. But anyways,
like it's Halloween
yeah.
year round is what it is. Okay.
Yeah, and there's no rules, and we love Halloween. Everyone does. Some people more than others. Today, we're going to talk about something that's real fun, which is the excitement surrounding Hocus Pocus 2, or just Hocus Pocus in general. A lot of people love the Halloween movies that are gore and violent or whatever. Do you like all genres of Halloween movies, or do you really like these more cutesy stories? What is your take on all that?
Honestly, when it comes to Halloween, anything and everything is up my alley. If it's horror, thriller, slasher, cutesy movies, I'm a sucker for a Disney Channel original movie. Even when it comes to Halloween Town 1, Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge, Halloween Town 3, Halloween Town High, Halloween Town. That's the thing, is like you can fit in so many sectors of Halloween, and it's all inclusive, really, to be honest. So I think my buzz for Hocus Pocus 2 is just as big as it is for Halloween, another sequel, Halloween Ends, that comes out this year. I'm just excited as for that as I am for Hocus Pocus.
Okay, well, not me. I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to all the violent ones. I don't love them as much. I want to watch Beetlejuice. I want to watch Hocus Pocus. It's not saying I didn't watch the other ones. In fact, my co-host on another podcast that I do, Difficult Podcasters, she had me watching the one with Annabelle, the little doll. And I was like, what is this?
The next cult classic right there.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? Like, I had, as if I already don't have, a hard time sleeping. Now I got to worry about Annabelle's in the room with me. Like, I don't even like to say her name. I only said it twice. Like Beetlejuice, I'm not going to say it 3 times.
Are you scared of Raggedy Ann?
Well, you should be. Have you heard of the stories? No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
So if there was a Raggedy Ann doll in the room, would you be scared of it?
Years ago, my father is a twin, and so there were. It was around the time that Chucky was really big. So we'd go to my grandmother's house, and they would have the 2 uncles, uncle and my father. So they'd have the 2 dolls, and they would say that, oh, they're gonna. And I was like 8 years old, 6 years old. They were like, oh, those 2 dolls, the twin dolls. They called them the twin dolls because, like I said, my father's a twin. They were like, don't go to sleep. They would like try to apparently scare me or my brother or whatever. Don't go to sleep at grandma's house because those twin dolls, they're going to come alive. So in theory, I've never really trusted a twin doll because I was always like, that's the cousin of Chucky. And I'm not messing with it. No.
I've always been into it. I've always hoped that something would manifest itself. Not like, don't wake the demons. Don't wake the demons, but something just to say, like, there's something other than us that's here. It intrigues me. It intrigues me.
Yeah.
They say when the body dies, just like as a whole other spiel, but when the body dies, on average, every single body that has died has lost 28 grams right off the bat, which there's a theory behind it that says that that's someone's soul lifting from their body and continuing on to its next destination as the energy. So I'm all for it. And speaking of back to life, the witches have come back to life.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what is your thought process on the Sanderson sisters? I mean, and just where were you at in life, in terms of like loving this first movie? I know there's books. Have you read the book? Like, give me
I
some information of what makes this so special.
so this is Disney. This is the New York best. Let me get this right. New York Times bestseller. This has the original story in it. It has the second movie in it. This was actually, a lot of people don't know this, but this book was actually released in 2018, so almost 5 years ago, and it's been out there. So I know the story. Actually, just read it, even though it's been on my shelf since 2018, because I wanted to know that something was coming after it. I knew I wanted to know the story, but I also wanted to know that I could have a visual after I read the book. So I finally read the book. Let me tell you, it's so juicy. It's so juicy, and there are some surprising elements in this book that I hope transition over into the movie, which were part of the main storyline. So I'm really, really hoping that they stuck to it. As we know, the original three witches are back: SJP, Kathy and Jimmy, Bette Midler, and from the first movie, I was really set on that was it, right? Because they turn to stone, they burst, but at the end of the day, we have to remember that magic can do anything, including bring back the dead, bring back anything. If you have the right spell and you have the right potions and you have the right elements in wizardry, anything is possible.
Yeah.
And so when I was reading this second book and I found out the elements to why the witches are back, it was very intriguing. And I do have a spoiler. There's actually a fourth sister.
Was that ever alluded though? I mean, I kind of feel like, or am I wrong about that?
I mean, there's theories that came around for the first movie, right? So the theory from the first movie was that Allison was actually, a relative of the Sanderson sisters, twice removed, because the witches didn't interact with her. But then Winifred addresses her as a clever little white witch when it comes to the Ring of Salt. But that actually is false. That theory is false. But there is a fourth sister who reveals herself in this story. I don't know how far you want me to go with that. You let me know. I don't know if it's too much of a spoiler or if you want me, if it's giving away the.
No, all of it's
plot.
interesting. You're gonna watch it regardless. Disney Plus is doing really good with this one. But
Yes.
I think there's a lot of people like you who, remember the original one, but also have turned to the book, know more than the rest of us until we watch the movie and are starting to theorize what's gonna happen. So I think you could say what you want to say.
Would it surprise you to know that there is actually a same-sex element relationship in this story that happens?
No, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess no. I mean, it's well, I mean, it's like these are. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you stumped me there. Yeah.
I mean, look, we're in a whole new generation that's very. We were always there, so that's number one.
Oh, for sure.
We were
Yeah, I
always
mean,
there.
the girls like Halloween. I mean, yes. I
Yes, we
mean,
do.
that's number one. So we may have a fun segment later around something like that, but it's gonna be for the mature audience. Not everyone needs to watch. But go ahead.
Look, I'm trying to find. So actually, Disney also released the spell book, which you can get one of these. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it online. You can find it at Target. It's roughly around the $10 to $12 range. I got mine for 10 and some change after taxes, and it actually breaks down the whole family line of Sandersons. And oh, here it is. But
Breaking down Hocus Pocus 2 by way of the book. Yep.
so this is the family of Sanderson. However, the fourth sister, and Disney was very smart about this, they did not put in this book, and I'll show you. This is the Sanderson family tree.
Mm-hmm.
So get a good look at Sanderson sisters are up here in this corner.
Mm.
And so here's the thing. What are you excited about to see in this movie? What are you hoping for?
You know, I just really feel like I'm excited that it happened. I mean, I'm more on the vein of like I like the story for sure, and it is cute, but I more just have the reverence for the great Bette Midler as the actress, you know, coming to do this. You know, finding the time, and sometimes you got to pay them their money, you know. So whatever happened, they did pay her money, and Kathy Najimy and Sarah Jessica Parker always getting back together. It's more in that vein for me. I don't have any like, you know, theories, or my brain is not like hypothesizing much. I just want to be entertained.
Okay. So
you stumped me again.
This story will entertain you. So I'm actually going to tell you what I know. And so the story itself it's surrounded by the Moonstone, which was passed down from generation to generation. It was given from Winifred's mother, passed down to the oldest child. And that is actually the reason why the sisters come back, because as we know, Book cannot be trusted. So when Book reveals itself to one of the three new characters who will be introduced into the movie, obviously they're naive, they're young, just like Danny and Allison and Max, how they were all naive about the situation, opening the book, and it revealed itself, and that's how Winifred found it the first time. So this time they accidentally say a spell, which one of the three new characters, I won't say who, you guys can find that out for yourself. One of the three new characters actually has Sanderson blood within them, and Book knows this, which is why the witches have come back to life.
Okay. You need a reason. So that'll be fun.
Honestly, I was really hoping that the three original I was really hoping that the three original teenagers were going to be in the movie. And so in the book, Max and Allison are married. Danny is the aunt. Max and Allison have a child, Isabella. They have a child, and they're overly protective of this child when it comes to full moons, especially around Halloween, because of what happened. The black flame candle is locked up in a safe, not to be accessed. However, what Max and Allison didn't realize is that you don't need the black flame candle. It just happened to be that 30 years ago, that was the element which brought the witches back to life. And this time around, you just needed a Sanderson to reveal the spell, which is what happened, and why, and reveal the spell, which is why the witches come back. But in order to destroy the witches the second time, the three main characters have to get their hands on the Moonstone, which maintains all powers of the Sanderson family tree and is the only thing that can destroy any spells that have been cast by any Sanderson family member.
Well, damn, we're excited now for this movie, even more so.
It's very interwoven. There's a lot that's going on in this story, and it's hard to follow, which I'm really excited to see. I'm excited to see what Anne Fletcher did with it, because as we know, Anne Fletcher has some amazing movies under her belt, including The Proposal, Step Up, Hairspray, The Pacifier, Hot Pursuit, Rock of Ages. You know, all great movies, all produced wonderfully and directed amazingly. So I'm curious to know her take on this, because obviously it's a different director than the first time around. But there are some people in this movie who I'm actually quite excited for. You bring up my notes here. Sorry. I'm like, oh, also Billy Butcherson, the original Doug Jones, will be playing him. And then we have Belissa Escobedo, who was actually in Beauty and the Baker, Hispanic Latina actress. So we need to give props to her.
Was she the young girl? The sister?
She was the sister.
Oh, and if you know, I loved Baker and the Beauty. I think it only had one season or two.
It had one season.
It should have got more. It was such a good show, and everyone I know was watching it. That's what's so funny.
And that's the thing, is we watched it here too. and we were so into it. And
it was great. Yeah. Lisa Vidal, Victor Razouk, like it was great. It was a great story. Yeah.
Yeah, we were so surprised it didn't get picked up. At least to like round out a second season, because not everything needs to go for 12 seasons.
Yeah.
Things can be limited series, and it can have a wonderful ending and have a great fan base behind it. You know, we've seen that with, I'm trying to think of a few series who've done that.
Well, I agree with what you're saying. They don't always need to run, forever, but this had a couple questions and you wanted to just follow the story of the family. But what I love about that is you get sad that Baker and the Beauty didn't continue, but you get these, actors and actresses and you get them at that high level. I think that show was on ABC. And it kind of puts them out to the world, so they could continue to work. I know the one that played the brother, Mateo, he was just on Amazon Prime, a Hulu show. And then I've seen her work quite a bit, actually. So this is great that she's going to be in this too.
I'm actually so excited for Belissa because she actually exemplifies what it means to be Hispanic and Latina. And so as you and I know, the representation in the industry, we would like to see more of it, right? We're about 20% of the population, so we would like to see at least 20% of the roles being played by Hispanic, Latina actresses, and not specifically Spanish speaking, because there are a lot of Mexicans raised in Southern California and a lot of Hispanics and Mexicans raised in Southern California who actually don't speak fluent Spanish, because at the time it was just their families wanted them to assimilate with everybody else in America, and they wanted us to speak English without any sort of accent or, harsh ways of speaking the language. So, I mean, it's great for her. She's representing a whole population, which are all rooting for her. And I mean, I'm sure J-Lo will jump on this as well at some point, because she's very gung-ho on supporting Hispanic actresses, especially young ones in the industry. And it's just good to see a lead role go to someone of our background heritage.
I'm excited to see it. I think it's perfect time for Hispanic Heritage Month also, so that kind of coincides. I want to turn the floor over to you real quick. We're going to come off Sanderson Sisters and Hocus Pocus for 1 second.
Okay.
We're going to give you the one shot, here on the camera. And I just want you to give me, what are your favorite things about Halloween? I won't even interject, but what are your favorite things about Halloween? Is it the costuming? Is it the chance to play to your younger self? We take ourselves very seriously day to day. Is that what makes you excited about it? Give me a couple notes as to what makes Halloween so special, and then I'll come back and chat with you here.
Halloween is very exciting, just because when it comes to the actual season itself, it brings people together. Fall brings people together in general. So Halloween is just an element of that, which also gets to bring alter egos with that, depending on what you're relating to at that time. So as I've grown up, I've had different Halloween costumes to whom I've related to, or character-wise or person-wise. And I try to mimic those characters and bring that element and play it to its fullest. And so it excites me to know that every year, especially with my group of friends that I've had over the years, as Halloween approaches every year, we're always relating to something new because we're at a new stage in life. And in Halloween, I feel like people play up to that. So whether you have a nice body for the first time, so you want to go as Tarzan, or if you're really relating to a television series, so you want to dress up as one of the characters, or if you just needed a superhero that year and you feel like you've been that superhero for someone. I don't know. In my mind, something connects with the Halloween costume always. There's always something within you that you've been going through that year that makes you want to express yourself in that sort of way. So I love Halloween because of the expression and the alter egos that come with it.
Yeah, I feel like for my own case, I just take myself so seriously sometimes, and I'm so mad about that, but that's who I am. So if on Halloween, those weeks before, if you could go to a Halloween party, I mean, I've had times where I didn't really dress as great as I wanted to, but I just did what worked for me at the time. But I'm a fan, or I've been a fan of, like, even the old school stuff. Like, I guess no one really does it anymore, but like passing out candy or whatever for trick or treat time. Like I think that's like a really cool, like it really, so much has changed as I was born in the 80s, so like, you know, being a kid to like what it is now, where everything's digital, you don't really have like experiences. That's the key. You
Yes.
don't have experiences ever. And Halloween really allows you to say, I can go back and be silly. You could wear a naughty costume if you want. It's just fun. We don't allow ourselves a lot of fun. Everything's so serious all the time. And I know that to be true because even in the level of like, let's say your work or your career, if you have a 9 to 5, everyone praises you. But if you tell somebody I'm going to have an entrepreneurship venture, suddenly they're like, oh, you think you're going to be somebody because of that? We're just not kind people. And on Halloween, you can. And it is fun to be at a Halloween party. And let's say you're flirting with somebody. You're like, oh, I like the such and such over there. Or I like the such and such over there. Like you get to call them by their costumes, you know. Ooh, did you see Buzz Lightyear? Ooh, I've never seen that kind of Buzz Lightyear. It's fun, you know.
I'm looking forward to see who is going to be Buzz Lightyear this year and who is going to knock it out the park, because
you know the parties I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. As I said, the ghouls. I'm trying to say it like Saucy Santana, but I can't do it. Well, that too. It's just fun for all. It's fun for everybody. Can I get a breakdown for you of each of the actresses and what you love about them as themselves and also the character in Hocus Pocus? So we'll start with Bette Midler, Bathhouse Betty. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
You know, Bette Midler has she's actually been part of my family when it comes to movie experiences, all the way back to my grandmother. And not only that, but as a vocalist. So Wind Beneath My Wings, I mean, you can't even play that at my house without somebody shedding a tear, because that was like one of my grandmother's favorite songs. But with that being said, she is an amazing actress and she's had an extensive career and she's done it all. She's done Vegas, she's done movies, she's done Broadway. I mean, talk about someone who can actually nail it all. Bette Midler is that person.
And what do you think of her role in the movie?
You know, she had said that Winifred Sanderson has always been her favorite character that she's played in a movie. So the fact that she got to play it this time around, 30 years later, or at least start filming it 30 years later, she was beside herself because it was a full circle moment in her career. And the fact that, again, she can have fun with herself because she takes herself and her career very seriously. And you have to do that as an A-list actress. So the fact that she got to play something, which originally, mind you, was a box office bomb, and didn't actually build its amazing fan base that we have today until years later, and as the years continued on. And
in that case, it's the beauty of streaming. It's the beauty of usually Twitter is a mess, but sometimes Twitter does bring people together. Like, you know, I remember the movie. I don't know if it was a bomb when it first came out, but this is for holiday, like Christmas movies. I don't know if Love Actually was that big when it came out, but Love Actually like seems like such a big deal now. And so like you're saying, back when these movies came out versus the way they have a legacy, I guess you would say.
And you know what? Honestly, sometimes it takes a minute for people to actually appreciate what things actually are, like this movie. So Hocus Pocus was released originally at the box office in theaters, and this time around it's not, which I feel like this time around it should have been released because there is the fan base. They do have the backing. But again, the pandemic has changed so much, and we went from going to movie theaters and being excited about those things to now being excited about hosting our own events at home and streaming at home, which is, the movie theater is a dying breed, which is unfortunate because that experience is just so nice. But unfortunately, we live in times where not everyone has good intentions with your experience when it comes to movie theaters. And so we have to be extremely cautious. So then why not just release it at home where you can enjoy it with your friends and family and have a peaceful, fun night without any worries?
Maybe they'll go to the movie theater experience for the upper scale situations. You know, they have a lot of theaters that have like alcoholic beverages you could buy or whatever. So movie theaters in that vein, I think there's one in Los Angeles at the Howard Hughes Parkway little area. I think will be a continuous thing, but everything else is going to fall to the wayside to some degree, because you're right, especially something like Hocus Pocus. You want to get the whole neighborhood together.
Yes.
You want to get every niece or nephew, and you want to get the aunts together, like, because everyone wants to come together. So while I do miss, like you're saying, going to the theaters for a great movie like this, I'm also very like, oh, we could do our own thing, and we could like have like little decorations, and we could make like cupcakes or whatever. It's a little cheesy, I admit, but it's also a really fun part of it. And again, we as people, we put such a shell on, or at least I do. We're wound really tight sometimes. You got to be so put together. But Halloween is the time where you get to kind of let loose and get your inner fun side kind of comes back.
Look, my boyfriend and I are so excited about this movie that we actually bought edible glitter and a white cotton candy. And we bought three different colors, obviously. So green, maroon, and purple. And we're gonna stuff it in the white cotton candy, and then we're gonna make our mixed drinks before the movie. And then we're gonna randomize the white cotton candy. And mind you, they're gonna be in shapes of either like spiders or ghosts. And they're gonna be a glitter bomb for our drinks to see which we are for that night.
Dang, you take it seriously.
Yeah, we are all about it. I have gummy brains, gummy eyeballs. I have gummy teeth because I wanted to do amnesia, bunions, dead man's toe. So I have all the elements that I need so that we can have just, our nice little bar cart set up. Because remember, everybody who was part of this movie, or a majority of the people who were part of this movie, are all now in their early to mid 30s and early 40s, because it was our generation that really took this movie on and related to it. So now that the second movie is coming out, this is about us. This is not about our kids. This is not about our nieces and nephews. Yes, you're invited. However, when it comes to Hocus Pocus 2, this is our cult classic, and we could not be more excited to see what is to come of the witches again. And I'm telling you, when it gives us an opportunity to relive our childhood, when it comes to nostalgic experiences, definitely 80s and 90s babies. This is our moment, and we just need Gen Z this time around to take a back seat just for a minute. We don't need you to take
That's
an entire back seat.
Take a back seat. You're right about that. This is hold
on. I'm gonna pause you right there. Let me show you. I'm gonna show you this glitter real quick. I'll be right back.
Hold on. All right. While he's taking off, we'll talk about just excitement. Excitement behind Kathy and Jimmy, excitement behind Sarah Jessica Parker, and I really do feel like it is quite intriguing to be able to get the three leads back together. And it does. It kind of seems like it happened somewhat quickly. It was like all of a sudden the reports were out. Then all of a sudden there's like, still images of like, from set, for the second series or second movie here. And it happened so quickly. So, we didn't hear anything in the tabloids of, one of them were not signing on or whatever. It was just a really good experience where everybody.
The witch is back.
Here he goes.
Okay, look. Here's the thing. Something just woke up inside of me.
Where'd you go? You're off camera now.
Oh no!
The ghost just took you over. Well, I guess I'll keep going on my own. We're gonna check back in with Russell in just a second. But yeah, this movie just does it for everybody. So I'm excited that everyone could celebrate it. Today we were just gonna try to do a thing where we were saying. It's all about the excitement of Hocus Pocus 2. If you like Hocus Pocus 2 or 1, for that matter, but and excited about 2, just leave a comment as to what it is that excites you about this. What is the big thing? Is it like he was saying? Is it nostalgia? Is it I just like Halloween movies? It really could be anything. So let me see where we're at here. And thinking about like Trick or Treat and just the spirit and the mood of it all is really, really fun. So I look forward to whatever. I'm not as I'm not as all the way gung-ho about you know, like I just like the cute little fun storyline or whatever. Some people really, really, really get into it, but for me, it's just cool and it's enjoyable, and it allows me to dip back into being you know, fun and being in a costume or whatever. And I don't know what costume I'll wear this year, but hopefully I do it. You know, you want to be in the spirit. Like, we just get too old. We're like busy at our job, working like six days a week, if not more. And it's like we never get to like take a beat. So this is a perfect time to take a beat. Let me see. Is there any comments in terms of people liking this movie, or just have any questions on it? I suppose not. Which means if we do not join back with Russell on the rest of this episode, we can look into wrapping it up. I'm going to check my text message and see what happened there. You see already the ghosts of Halloween and Annabelle. They're already here. So we're not even close to mid-October and they are already here. But this was all about making it fun and keeping it really exciting. And yeah, let me know. Tell me what your you know, what your costume would be. What do you want to wear for Halloween? If you celebrate Halloween, some people don't at all. One thing I was going to tell you that I thought was really fun is, and let me go to it right here. It's right here on my phone. Also, beyond being on YouTube and a couple other platforms like Instagram and TikTok and stuff, also the content that we have is available on Twitch. So let me go back here. Yeah. So if you can see, Twitch is also streaming these episodes as well. So we'll try to make sure that we do that a little more often as well, because that makes it easier and more convenient. Okay, so that's what I said about all of that. Let's join back in. Let's join back in with the conversation. The ghost has taken him over.
Oh my goodness.
But then he got the Ghostbusters to take care of it. Where were you at? Because you were mid-sentence, man.
Look, there was something that you said that just awoken inside of me that got me so excited about this movie. Like, I've been excited about the movie the whole time. But just this is the 80s and 90s babies moment, okay? And we love Gen Z and we appreciate you. However, this is your moment to just let us do our thing. Oh, and my lighting is going. Everything is going.
See, he wanted to talk about Annabelle, and look what happens. You better shut your mouth next time.
This is something telling me that they're here. But this is the edible glitter that I got.
Okay. Oh, let me take a look.
It's made by Brew Glitter.
Oh, okay.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to get the white cotton candy, like I said, and then we're going to put that inside of, we're going to use that as a glitter bomb inside of our drink to see which we end up being that night. But again, this is about us as the generation that this movie was made for. This second movie is definitely about us with Gen Z in mind. But again, this is our moment, and we need nobody to take that from us.
But at the same time, first thing first, your like more spooky camera look is actually very good. That works. So who cares? Because it's in theme. But secondly, we spend so much time, and when I say we, I mean like the jobs I've worked is radio and broadcast and television, and we spend so much time. You see it every year, like with new television shows and movies and stuff and such. Everything is geared towards such the 18 to 34 demographic or whatever. Me, I'm in my 40s now, and it's like I love the idea that no, this is my stuff. Why do we always got to suffice that generation that's getting sufficed on TikTok all the time anyway? So not to be like mean about it, but like screw you if you don't like what we like. This is what we did, and this is about us. And we need to have more things that are fun for us because we have all of our things we could look back on, like playing with toys back in the day. It would be like He-Man was a big deal. Yes. The cartoons you used to watch. What was it? The DuckTales. Like it's great to have a communication and a community, and I think the Sanderson Sisters go right in that community. Yes. It's almost like a time capsule of our thing. So I was saying when you had left, and maybe you have any backstory on this, how it felt like all three of the actresses and even the production itself, it felt kind of fast. I don't want to say that it was, but it felt really good. It didn't seem like you had any like tabloid stories. This one doesn't want to be a part of the series, the movie rather. This one doesn't, wants more money. It felt like it just was an idea. And I mean, that's just what the public got.
Yes.
And they were all in on it. And then suddenly you're seeing screen captures, stills from the set of the second movie. And I just thought, and now that it's out so quickly, I feel like this was a well-oiled machine. Can you speak to that a little bit?
So it was a well-oiled machine, number one. Number two, it wasn't necessarily about the actresses, but it was more or less if Disney wanted to bring them back as the three original witches, or if they were going to bring new witches in, which is acceptable in some cases. However, I think that Disney really nailed it when they allotted that space for SJP, for Kathy Najimy, for Bette Midler, because this movie was their heart and soul, especially because SJP was at the beginning of her career back in the 90s when this was released, and so was Kathy Najimy. And now they're all seasoned actresses who have really perfected their craft. And not only that, but they would know what goes into playing these characters and how to portray them entirely for a second time, because they created them the first time around. Yes, every actor has a director in which they give them their beats of how they want the audience to respond, how they want the character to feel, and all those elements. However, especially with the new director, all three sisters and all three actresses really knew what it took to bring these characters to life. Mm-hmm. And bring those elements that make them again. There's certain things like Mary, for example, the lip is to the side, yeah. The whole time she's, we need to look, and Sarah is very much the more playful one, the one who is actually lost half of the time. But again, there's new elements to these actresses and there's new elements to these characters that we didn't know before. If you caught it in the first movie, and only true cult fans will know this, if you caught it in the first movie, Sarah is actually the witch who knows what went into the potion. Because when Winifred was second guessing herself, Sarah exclaimed, "Dead man's toe." And Mary shushed her to be quiet because Winifred was trying to concentrate. So actually, Sarah is underestimated and undermined as well in a lot. And those elements were really important. And I feel Disney also understood that those elements were important when it came to doing the movie the second time around. And so there was no other better option than the original three cast members.
Well, I'm glad everyone got together. Like I said, there could always be money disputes, and I'm not even saying that's a bad thing in terms of the actress. Sometimes the studios don't pay their actresses or actors their worth, or even all the behind the scenes people too, the directors, etc. So I'm glad it did come together in a well-oiled machine, and that's really what we're feeling and starting to understand. Any last thoughts of Hocus Pocus in general? And
I will say, if you haven't read the book, you still have a week. You can do it. It's not that long. It's really not. It starts. Let me show you how you can do this.
Before another one of his lights go out.
Yes, before my lights go out, and before my landlord realizes that I didn't pay rent this month. Before all those things.
Yeah, it's not a spooky situation. It's the rent.
It's roughly this portion of the book right here. So if you can get that, or if you can get Audible, and you can listen to the book, it's also on. It's also on tape, so you can, or streaming, so that you can listen to it. If you have a very busy lifestyle like I do, and you're always on the go, and you're constantly traveling, constantly driving, Audible is a great option to go, and you can get the whole book done in 3-4 days. It's very easy to follow along. It's very exciting. I'm just excited for all of us, generation, or 80s, 90s babies. I'm really excited for us to have this moment because it's very rare that we get a moment like this often, to relive our childhood, to really go back to the things that we love and to enjoy ourselves, really. But now we can enjoy ourselves as adults. And if we want to have a little spooky champagne or a little spooky and soda,
Yeah.
then
I
we can
remember
do those things.
I remember being at a friend's house for a Halloween thing, and it's like, yeah, you get the red wine, but it has like fake spiders crawling out of it or whatever.
Yes.
It's fun. This is like a really, and one thing that I will say that we miss, and it's great that this group could get together and give us the all this excitement for Hocus Pocus #2. One thing that I miss, and I don't know if you agree, I'm sure you do, I loved so much the 80s and 90s sitcoms getting so excited behind Halloween. I mean, I could probably only think of Roseanne so quickly right now, but she used to dominate the Halloween episodes. And I kind of like miss that whole, it doesn't really happen as much on television anymore. Not to the degree that it used to be,
Yeah, or if it does happen, it's because it's a special, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the series has already been released, but now we're gonna do a one-off, a special that's gonna be released.
Yeah. Well, sitcoms in general aren't really that adored like they used to, but I used to love them. Like I have such a part of me where I was a kid, I was always like ready to be a grown-up. I was like, I want to watch 30-something Pretty Woman. I was like 8. But there's another part of me that just loves wholesome TV and wholesome movies or whatever. And I think this is kind of like the convergence of all of that. But I'm really really excited to see them all together again. I think it's going to come out to rave reviews. I'm glad they paid them what they were worth. And I'm glad everyone seemed to be happy. I hope the three of them like each other. You've never really heard many stories about Bette Midler, Kathy and Jimmy. Maybe a couple on Sarah Jessica, but generally,
but that's the thing, is it's like
those are just stories. Those are tabloids.
Exactly. Even if someone else has spoken out, it's always how you handle it, right? So even things that have been said, like I have not seen malice out of any one of these three actresses from in their career released about somebody else. Does that make sense? So even with the rumored SJP feud and other actresses, like, again, took the high road, really just kind of let it be what it is. And mind you, as individuals, we're not everybody's cup of tea, right? So I might not be everybody's cup of tea. And people might not like me, but that's not because I'm a bad person. It's just because we have different interests and we have different ways of approaching situations. And sometimes it can be a cultural thing. I can speak for myself of that. I speak harsher sometimes when I'm being direct. And there's certain things that I feel like as an individual I shouldn't apologize for if something is not my fault. So when I was when I was working in past jobs, it's like, I'm not going to apologize because this isn't a me issue. You know what I mean? It's not my fault that you got shortchanged or X, Y, or Z, but I will say thank you for being patient with me and thank you for understanding that this is something that I wasn't involved in. Because again, it's not, and I'm not going to take credit for something that's not my fault. So I would assume as being an actress or being an actor, same thing. Just because you might take someone's perspective as a different way or their approach a different way doesn't necessarily make them a bad person and doesn't make it tabloid worthy. It just might be that you're two different entities that just don't mesh very well, and that's okay. And I think that, Bette Midler has right off the bat said the chemistry was there when they walked on set and everything is like they picked up right where they left off. So I'm assuming they're all on the same page and they're all very much obsessed with each other in their own type of way. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm with my sisters again. Because when you shoot a television show, and I can speak from my experience of being on Create the Escape, when you shoot a television show, you create this bond, not only with your castmates, but you also create this bond with the production crew and with the executive producers. So when you get together again, it really is that element of family because you're with each other nonstop for a certain amount of time. And we've all been in that situation where we've had that best friend that we've spent years and years and years with, and then all of a sudden it kind of falls off. But then when you reconnect, you pick right back up where you left off from. And I feel like this is very much what is going on with Hocus Pocus 2 and the actresses.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not even saying there was any issues or whatever. And I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to say Sarah Jessica's rough, but I love that you make that mention because you and I will always have some really strong and positive thoughts on J Lo, and people will say J Lo so tough to deal with or whatever, but they never make the realization that two things: that anything she says and does is sort of used against her and it gets thrown up on a tweet, and there's no one that ever says like how valid was that tweet. That was maybe somebody who passed her in a specific situation. And then another thing is how do you also not know that if J-Lo is being direct, these jobs don't get done by themselves. Like you need to put in the work. Like I love being on sets. I've worked on America's Got Talent, Married at First Sight, a couple commercials or whatever. We did a commercial for Speedo once, and it was with like Ryan Lochte and all the Olympic swimmers and stuff. When I tell you the level of expertise that needed to be done, nobody had time to be quote unquote nice. And could you imagine if you were like, and I was just on the production side, not, obviously the athletes were on camera, but could you imagine if the athletes or the production team was being able to say, oh, they're not being kind. It's not that no one's being kind. It's like we got to keep it rolling. We got to move. Yeah. So I was just making mention that like, I'm glad we didn't hear any of that because people will try so hard to be like, I've got the scoop. I'm going to expose, what Bette Midler got in her trailer and Sarah Jessica didn't. And I don't even want to bring it up. So I don't know why I'm bringing it up, but this was just a healthy
it's natural it's natural to have a curiosity, right? Because that's why we're such big fans of this movie. We want to know what it's going. We want to know the details. We want to know what they were eating in between breaks. And we want to know, as anybody who's a vocalist, we want to know what Bette Midler was drinking before she got on stage to sing her next number. Because we all want the tips and tricks to be our better versions of ourselves and our own craft. So again, I might have read into it a little bit further than what you were saying, but I just, in this day and age, we have to be very clear about things and our intent. And so I can't just have a response without having a response for the response, so that it's very thoroughly laid out, so that it's not misconstrued and it's not misunderstood, and that I don't get a call from Sarah Jessica Parker tomorrow saying, hey, I don't like what you said, because she will call me. Okay. Or Bette Midler or Kathy and Jimmy, because yes, I am the sauce and I do have connections. Okay.
I just like this. I like that when we do our episodes, you and I, because if you don't know, Russell Ray and I have done episodes at AfterBuzz years ago, and it was we'd cover different shows, specifically Gianni Versace, the American Crime Story that Ryan Murphy did. And I think what I like about our banter usually is we stick to the film. Like we don't, or we stick to what we're talking about. We don't waste a lot of time with all of the, well, I heard, and I was just, my bigger point was just that it's nice that it came back the second movie and it was cohesive, and that makes me excited, because other times you'd see things come back and you would hear the stories, or you would hear they're not paying this person their worth, or no one wants to come back. And it just, as viewers, we're working our butts off with our work life, our 9-to-5s or whatever it is. You sometimes just want like, can you guys make it work? Both production, both the actors and the agents and the studio. And so this was a glory story of that. This actually worked out the right way, and I think we're gonna love the movie. I guess those are my last thoughts of the movie. Do you think we have time to do our mature? And I say mature meaning if you're into the laughing,
if you're not into Twitter at all. And if you don't go on Twitter, you probably shouldn't be part of this next segment.
It's not that.
I'm going to open the curtain so I get a little bit more light. Hold on.
And it's not okay. And listen,
I gotta make sure I'm lit up.
The segment we're gonna do.
Make sure that this segment is lit. Okay. So now we are lit and we are ready.
Okay, so the segment we're gonna do it's not like this nasty segment, but we do got to represent sometimes, and we do know, like, the girls, the gays, they love Halloween, and we want to do our little trick or treat, we'll call it. So this segment will be called Trick or Treat. Again, if you ain't with it and you were just here for the Hocus Pocus, it's time to say goodbye. Bette Midler, because now we're gonna do it for the girls, and you know what I mean by the girls.
Okay.
So we're gonna do this thing where we'll have a photo of a sexy Halloween costume, and Russell and myself are going to say if we would ever, want to use that costume. So it's basically yay or nay on the costume.
All right. I haven't seen these. So
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise. So I might be just as chick, and I might just have to cover my face.
Me too. I don't know what we're about to see. You know, I don't know how
what the producers lined up.
I don't know how frisky the producers set this up, but it is trick or treat, and you know, because people have said it, and it's a loving comment. You know, gay men have always taken to Halloween in a way that a lot of people haven't. Also, so it's not against anybody. Halloween is for everybody, but like, you know, it's our time too. So let's have some fun. So this is trick or treat, the Halloween costume extravaganza. No, I'm joking.
Yes.
All right, so we'll put up a photo, and Russell, you'll start on each of them if you would wear the costume or what it would take to, like, you know, if you would alter it or whatever. So would you be, for Halloween, a good old-fashioned football player? We really doing this on the episode, Russ.
You know, if I had those arms and I had those shoulders, I would wear this costume. I have the mentality of my mom. My mom always said if she had the body of Sofia Vergara, that she would have showed up to all my parent-teacher conferences in a bikini.
Why not? I guess.
Same way. If I had that body, I'd be a football player every day of the year. So yes, I would do that one.
Okay, yeah, this one is nice. I feel like the only alteration I would make for me would be, if you're gonna do it, you gotta like still utilize the shoulder pads and stuff like that. Like you gotta tweak it in a way.
No jersey.
He seems to be doing it like very like, oh, look at my stomach, you know, look at my crotch, like, and that's cool too. That's for another day. But for Halloween, you got to have like the pads in the butt. Wow. You got to have the pads in the shoulder pads. I told you we're for the mature audience after our Hocus Pocus excitement. Okay, next costume. I really said pads in the butt. I need to be stopped.
I mean, it's not anything that we haven't seen in 2022 anyways.
Yes. Or on the MTV Awards.
Thank you.
Would you be a Playboy Bunny? Here's the second one.
No, that's too BDS. Is it BDSM? BDSM for me.
I love how we went from Hocus Pocus to BDSM, but yes. We got range, baby. We got range.
We're like Mariah Carey. We're just hitting all the octaves.
This one, I mean, obviously, like in my hog body, no. But if I was that slender and it was the right type of occasion, you know what I mean? Like it was the right Halloween party, this wouldn't be just generic. This would have to be like a very certain thing. If I had that body and like, you know, I don't know who would have a good Halloween party, like Marc Jacobs. Like somebody who has like
I don't know if you saw the movie The Voyeurs, but this is
I didn't.
Very The Voyeurs vibe.
Oh, okay.
If y'all haven't seen it, go watch The Voyeurs, because there is a Halloween party that takes place that costume right there would work perfect for.
Okay, so that's a no for both of us. Okay.
No.
This one is a little more animated than I would be used to. Our producers put this up. So I was just dying to know what Russell thought of it, because the idea of a unicorn makes sense, but this to me was like a hard pass. I mean,
it's giving me very much doodle bops.
Which means what? Wait, what?
It's giving me doodle bop. I don't know if you know who the doodle bops are. It's a children's show, and it's very vibrant colors like that. No, this is a no. The eyes, the hair, like nothing is working for me. I'm not
against a unicorn, but I don't like you have that like prosthetic second set of legs or whatever. It's like, what if I got to go number 2, you know, at the Halloween party? Like, I feel like you could do a Halloween unicorn because it's nice. You know, people say it all the time, like, oh, you're a unicorn, you know. We use that terminology, you know, you're special, you're a unicorn. But I couldn't get into the fluffiness of it. I couldn't get into the colors. They were too pastel or something like that. Like it felt too cotton candy. And it was like, bleh.
It's giving me Nicki Minaj, and I don't like it.
That's so funny. That's one of the things I don't like about Nicki as well. And that's not doing a comparison to Lil' Kim, who's an icon, but you know, Nicki Minaj's was always really like cotton candy and bubble gum, and not that her style as an MC is really good, but I was not into the what was it, the pink and the barbs and all that just didn't work for me. This one's fun. This could be like a couple's costume or like just a theme. This is a little more covered up. So this is Fred and Barney. I think this is
very
okay.
cute. That is very cute. Not to mention the people who are wearing these costumes are also very attractive. I would do that with Shane tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I don't know if they're both theater actors, but definitely the one in the would that be Barney? Yeah, in the Barney costume
Barney.
is.
That's not Barney. That's actually Bam Bam.
Oh, okay. Look at you in the know. Okay, yeah. Oh,
I had to think about it because I was like, wait, what looks different? Hold on. Let me just double check.
May I say one thing while you're looking? While our producer was looking up these photos,
oh no, that is Barney. Sorry.
Google was not as variety open with variety as I would have liked. I'll just say that. So I was like, I mean, come on, Google. Like, every person doesn't need to look like a twink. Like, what are we doing here? But that was Google's problem. And Google, I'm watching you.
Is it Google or is it your algorithm?
Honey, it's not my algorithm. You could trust and believe it's not my algorithm. Definitely not that. You're wrong about that. We need to move on. Okay, so another theme couples costume. I mean, this one's a bit played out, but tons of people love it. The whole Batman and Robin. What are your thoughts on this?
Again, if I had the body for this, I would 100% go for it.
So having the body qualifies as like you need like the thighs, you need like the 8-packs, abs and all that.
For me, not for everybody. So everybody doesn't need it, but for me, in order for me to have the confidence to wear something like this, I would want to be on that level of fitness. And not everybody feels that way about themselves, but I just don't like the way things like that look on me at this size. So I would prefer to have more shoulder, more bicep, more tricep. Also, I probably wouldn't wear a Speedo. I would probably more wear a mid-thigh short, like the Robin costume,
right?
If I was doing Batman. But this individual looks great. The thighs look amazing. I mean, the definition and tone of the body and the fitness dedication is there. Obviously, he was probably eating chicken and rice for about 8 months. But if you're willing to sacrifice it to make it happen, applause to you.
Or maybe plastic surgery too.
I don't think that's plastic surgery. Might be steroids, but definitely not plastic surgery. But he does have very clear skin, so I could also be passing judgment.
I like it. I kind of agree with you. Like, the top is fun because you have like the sling situation. Not sling. What would you call that? What is that called? Not in a sling. Whoa. Yeah. So that to me is kind of a unique take on Batman. But I feel like you should have like the bottom should be, even if it was like mesh shorts that you could kind of see through, but like give you like a little bit more on the bottom versus that he has no shirt or whatever. But the Robin is pretty good. The Robin's fine.
Sometimes discretion also works more in your favor.
Meaning
it would almost be more attractive to see instead of a Speedo being in a tight pleather or vegan leather, as everyone calls it now, pant that are like skin tight and like cropped at the ankle, because it does just as much. But also, like, I mean, you could probably get into more places that way. You could probably go eat dinner at Denny's that way. It's not going to happen.
I actually agree with you completely. And I think that's a rule in fashion though, too, not just even Halloween. Like, the problem is, I mean, he looks great or whatever. I mean, those legs the thighs are perfect, right? But if you were going to do the bottom like that, then you would do something more like with the cape and some kind of like open shirt that like, sort of just like, alludes that, you have this great chest or whatever.
Yes.
And that was even the rule of thumb. And again, not to be giving advice to anybody, but like when I was, as an older brother to my sister, who's 10 years younger, not that she needs my permission or whatever, but being protective, I would always be like, cause she was my sister is such a good, she's got a great head on her shoulders. And so I would always be like, go ahead, do your thing, like rock it how you want to rock it. But my only rule of thumb was, if you're showing up top something, then maybe you have a pant on the bottom and some big chunky boots or whatever. That's J-Lo will do that. That's just a sexier look. If you are on the bottom, got a shorter skirt or whatever, throw on something a little bit bigger on the top, have a scarf. It's just a stylistic fashion thing. So when we're saying that this look is not perfect, it's perfect for the night. I'm sure Robin had a great time.
Robin or Ronnie?
No, not me. But I mean, I would. So there you go. I would. Okay, moving on. This is a perfect one. I would say this is like, if you happen to have the great body like that, why wouldn't you want to angel toga it out? So this is a great Halloween costume.
That's a no-brainer right there. That's like, it's just as much equally sexy as it is censored. I love it.
And for the record too, in terms of like, when we both are, because you said it and I just agreed, but we both have the same opinion. When I'm saying I would do it based on if I had that body style, it's not shaming my body style now. I love who I am. And I will say, out of all the costumes, some of them I blatantly would not try. But this one would be one that I would try, even at my own body style, because there's something really dope about it. Like, I like the wings. I like the little cloth toga situation.
Even the gladiator wrap sandals.
Yeah. This one's fun. Oh, gladiator. Yeah, maybe that's what you're saying. So this is not saying that you literally have to look like these people. It's just more so saying, my own insecurities, Russell's own insecurities. But no, a costume like that, I'd give that a consideration. I would. Same. Have you ever thought of being Superman?
I have been, and I actually have a photo very similar to that.
Oh, you took one. Oh, the thirst. Yes,
I do. However, it's cropped a little more, and I'm very much more covered up. But I do have a photo very similar to that.
So that's a yes. He would do that costume.
I would do it again.
I don't mind this version of a Superman, but looking around on Google, and again, Google is not as variety open as I expected, but that's neither here nor there. I think this concept of Superman giving the whole Clark Kent and then opening the shirt and just having this rockin', amazing chest and making that the Superman angle, that to me that's a costume. That I love this picture.
I wish I had those packs. I'm working on it, but I mean, he looks great. He does.
Yeah. Okay, so Halloween, we just got over the heat wave because there was a summer heat wave. Halloween is autumn. Yes. However, sometimes it gets real hot. And sometimes the only person who could save you is a firefighter. What say you with dressing as a firefighter? By the way, the first bit of variety that we gotten on Google. So Google, I'm quite disappointed in you. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful picture. Beautiful man. Yeah. Eye candy.
Yes.
This is a yes for you.
This is a yes all the way around the board.
It's good, huh? Because you could be shirtless. Or you could have a t-shirt kind of ripped up and distressed a little.
You also expect a fireman to look like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, you expect a fireman at some point to either be in a tight white shirt or just no shirt at all.
So that's a double yes for for this guy.
And I would be friends with that individual as well.
Okay. So what about not in a serious way, but like a lot of times people will have fun. Guys will have fun with doing like Halloween drag. It's not like so serious. Obviously, some people go on to like. Oh, I have not. Well, I had to do something for the radio station where I had to dress like Hannah Montana. But yeah, we always have these themes. It's not like you're trying to go into drag. Which one did you do?
I was. I don't even know how to categorize it. I was a girl. Definitely, I was a girl.
She was just fast.
I was to describe it at its best. I was a early 2000s girl with a jean skirt, cork wedges, and I think it was like that. It was that loose cross t-shirt almost that doubled as a skirt for some people. I did that. I had a fur around my neck. I was living.
You were like MTV's 2000s, like the J-Lo era, the Ashanti, Willa Ford, 3LW, that kind of look.
Very 3LW. It was giving very 3LW, and it was giving very much.
You were Adrienne Bailon, basically.
Not only did I have a skirt. No, it wasn't a jean skirt, but it was like dicky material, and then I had jeans on underneath because that was the era of when actresses were wearing jeans with maxi dresses.
Oh, I barely remember that. My gosh.
It was a short-lived stage, but that's what I was for Halloween.
What was the reaction?
No one could take me serious.
Well, then that brings us to the next part of it is, would you do like basically Halloween drag, a cheerleader, something in that vein? I don't know
if I would do this.
This cheerleader looks a bit busted to me. So this would not be it, but I'm not against the concept of doing a little Halloween drag,
Yes, I'm not against it. I've done it. It was fun. And I was playing football at the time.
There you go. Mix it up, man. I'm sure they loved it.
Everybody loved it. They were living.
When you were playing football, did the guys look like this?
No.
Imagine if they did. You would have been the center.
We need to move to the next one.
The show's almost over and it's fallen off the rails, but who gives a care? Okay, so speaking of like,
any drinks yet?
I know. Speaking of dressing in a version of drag or whatever, and not like making it a serious thing, but just more like having fun. So the only time I've had to do something like that was I had to be Hannah Montana for a radio promotion, like an event we did for the radio station, and it was within the morning show. So it was like, it was very smart to do. Get a lot of points from the station. The station at that time used to do like a lot of stunts, so it wouldn't just be drag; it would be all kinds of just crazy things.
I love crazy things.
Yeah, it was what the element of a morning show used to be. They kind of changed now, but that's how they used to be. So I always thought the next time, and if I do drag of any sorts, it would start with Halloween, and I would want to be a version of Brenda K. Starr, and I would name myself Brendan K. Starr of the "I Still Believe" music video, which is the most iconic like 80s like ballad version of almost like freestyle. Well, not freestyle, but I would call myself Brendan K. Starr, and I would also not just dress and drag. I would make sure I'd record a music video that mimicked this video or parodied this video.
I absolutely love this, and I would 100% support it. Brenda K. Starr is a legend, and the fact that you would do that in the male version, I am 100% here for it. I will bring my lights. I will give you all the lighting that you want. Tell me where to stand, and I will be there in support 100%.
I mean, because she was so, and I would name him Brendan K. Starr as the joke. She was so fashionable. Like, I guess at this time it was leather, but the really cute leather skirt and the jacket to go with it, the big 80s hair.
Yes.
Of course, so many people know that "I Still Believe" because Mariah Carey, I suppose, was one of the background singers or whatever, and she had redone it too. But there's nothing to me more great than the Brenda K. Starr "I Still Believe." So I could imagine being like, "I still believe," like getting into it, really feeling myself. That's what I would do. Yeah, you know what I mean? But see, every year I say, well, Ronnie, all you need to do is get a flat stomach because she has the bare midriff, and every year I look down and I do not see the flat stomach. So one of these years, when the liposuction check comes in, maybe we'll do it.
Look, one of these years when one of these years when I could get HGH.
Ooh.
Sorry. One of these years, I might need HGH just to get me to that next level. Okay. I ain't gonna use steroids, but I mean, isn't HGH like supposed to be natural, isn't it?
I don't know
that's what everybody in West Hollywood uses. That's why I don't live in West Hollywood.
I don't know what topic we're talking about anymore, but no. And again,
I really that costume.
I really do want to stress that it's not knocking any body style. Like, I could have just as much fun doing a Brendan K. Starr at my own body weight, and that's what Halloween should be. I've done plenty of costumes where I was, shirtless, and I was, did not look thin, and weighed a ton and had fun with it. That's the nature of the job I used to do, which was radio. I probably had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 like self-deprecating, really humorous, shirtless, events when I worked in radio, but that's what fun was. And that's the thing. Halloween reminds me of fun. I think we did a great job. Another thing that we should maybe bring to the fold is even dressing as one of the Sanderson sisters is a great Halloween costume. And by the way, maybe a lot of people will do that this year. I would love to do what is Bette Midler's character's name again?
Winifred.
That I would love to do that character. Absolutely.
Actually, on YouTube, let me see if I can find it really quick because I know we're running out of time. Someone did a male version of Winifred and sang "I Put a Spell on You," and he looked good.
Yeah. And that's what it is. It's all about fun. It's campy. You know what I mean? That's why we like Halloween. And I say we, it could be everybody likes Halloween. It's actually a bad thing on your part if you take yourself too seriously and blink and let Halloween go by. You should enjoy the big festivals. I actually don't think they're doing a West Hollywood festival anymore, which is kind of a bit of a bummer. Yeah. In radio, we used to do events there all the time. When we were. This was like 2002, 3, 4, 5, and what an extraordinary time. And now to not have that kind of sucks. But when I was in New York, I'd always be in the Village and just enjoying Halloween. And yeah, it's good.
I mean, times are changing, and it's just what the times are calling for.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, people really aren't into it the way that they used to be, like we are. So it's just businesses and cities trying to transition over into the next greatest thing. But if you did want to see that costume, you can log over to Garrett Clayton's YouTube page. It's "I Put a Spell on You," and he is actually a male version. Here we go. I'll do the.
Is he actually an actor? Oh, yes. He's an actor. He's the one. Yes. He's the one that was in. There's this movie called I think King Cobra or something like that. It's kind of.
I think so.
Yeah, he used to be a Disney actor. Yeah, well, until that movie.
Okay, look, everyone has to have their moment where they move on.
Listen, all we want is variety and range with everyone in their work. If you're an actor, right now what we're both doing is podcasting, YouTube, hosting and stuff like that. And I really, when I was talking to Russell before the episode started, I was like, can we talk about the Sanderson sisters and Hocus Pocus and kind of be on that level, and then kind of go into some real fun costumes that make us laugh and smile and feel certain ways. And I was not sure, but like honestly, that's what variety is, man. That's having flexibility to kind of have different parts of your personality shine. So on one level, I'm like, isn't it cute that Hocus Pocus is coming back? And then the next minute, I'm over here, being like, oh damn, look at that body.
I mean, to be fair, SJP did Sex and the City, all those seasons, Sex and the City movie 1, Sex and the City movie 2, and now she's doing Disney Channel, Disney Plus, Hocus Pocus 2. So
it's called Range. It's called Range. Look it up.
Yes.
Any last words just on your career? If don't think we didn't hear you. Russell was saying, and it's on Peacock streaming platform, and it came out actually very early. I feel like if it would have came out a little bit later, like even more eyeballs could show up and watch. But it's a show called The Great Escape. It is a show. Well, you could tell me.
Create the Escape.
Oh, oops. I mean, I've watched a couple episodes. Sorry I said it. It's Create the Escape. Why don't you take it away and say, because we could watch it today if we wanted.
You can. So you can go on. It's under the family entertainment section of Peacock, just as you would find Wipeout or any other show. It's called Create the Escape. And what it is I'm one of the designers on the show, as you can tell. And what it is these kids come in and they dream up their ultimate escape room. And then the parents' challenge at the end of the week is to come get out of it. And if the parents fail and the kids win, the kids get the mystery prize box and anything that's inside of it. But if the kids lose, then the parents have their own set of medals that they get, including their own prizes. So it's a great show. It's a feel-good show. There's actually some Halloween aspects in there. We have one episode that is called Escape from Spirit Dale High, which is right at the Halloween alley. So if you're getting your friends together and you're having a Hocus Pocus 2 viewing party, might as well just jump into Peacock and watch some Create the Escape.
And that's what we were talking about earlier. Like we were thinking about like sitcoms. Everyone's like, oh, sitcoms, they're just like not as raw as like some of the other streaming shows. Sometimes nice, wholesome television is good. And when I watched that show that you were on, knowing some information, Russell and I are really good friends. So, I kind of knew what he was working on, but seeing it all play out. And I actually didn't know there was the element of the kids versus the parents.
Yeah.
And I think that was the winning element, because it became like a push and pull, like who's going to succeed. And then your job designing was actually really good. And I think you guys had a really good group of hosts that all gelled together. Speaking of Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Najimy and Bette Midler gelling together, that's what it's all about, is chemistry. If you want to support me, that was Russell. If you want to support me, we do a lot of different shows within the podcast platform. So just go to these websites: randomlywithronniejr.com, difficultpodcasters.com, popculturepov.com, let's shine a light on it.com. And as you know, over the years, I've been involved in radio since, I think like 2003. I worked on other type stuff before as well, but definitely started in radio in 2003. Been around all of the things, all of the people. And while that's fantastic, I mean, as you could see here, there's a picture with Beyonce, Joe Rogan, Christina Milian, the great Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro, Miguel before he became Miguel. And he's actually a 310 San Pedro guy, which is just ironic and cool. One of the things when I dipped into doing the YouTube channel, I thought all of that would help. But when you start the YouTube channel, you have to start from scratch with everybody. So I think anyone who watches our show or this show right now and wants to support me, those are the ways to do it, is just continue to go to those websites that I told you. They'll take you right to the other shows, or just go to the YouTube channel, RandomlyRJ Jr., which, I mean, it's got like 300 episodes, and it links you to the other channel. There's got 300 there too. And Patreon, though I only have 5 patrons, maybe tomorrow I'll have 15 and the next day 55. I mean, this is how it works. And I love what I do. And I'm really glad that me and Russell, who had such a great time recapping Gianni Versace American Crime Story, finally got to do an episode here together. Our schedules never really permit, but damn it, you have to come back.
You know what? There is a show that I think that we would be good for that is on Netflix, The Dahmer Story. So let's talk more about that. Let's dip in on that and see where we can go from there. And then they might see the dynamic duo back here again.
I'm actually low-key possibly interested. And anyone who knows me knows I don't really love, like, people love true crime and all the death and the gore. I don't really love that. But there was something about Gianni Versace that I was hooked. And there's also something about that trailer that Ryan Murphy released. I think it was 2 trailers, and the choice of actors in it too. That Dahmer looked pretty insane. Well, it was insane. I might watch it, and we may join and recap that with either us 2 or some other people as well. That'll be fun. Russell, last words.
Everyone go see the movie. Go watch my show. Leave us comments. Let us know what you think about Hocus Pocus 2. If you want some more insight specifically on what you should expect in the movie, you can go ahead and DM me on my Instagram at RussellXRaymond, because, you know, 2 personalities, 2 me's, always double the fun.
Not a shoulder shimmy when he said it. Yeah, that's definitely it. Okay. We will talk randomly with Ronnie Jr. It was a fun episode. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.